It's one thing to feel stressed out. It's another to feel like you can't breathe and you're afraid you're going to die. That's when you might be having a panic attack. So what do you do if it happens to you or somebody you know? Let's ask mental health expert Dr. Ruth White. Good morning, Dr. White.
Good morning, Darya.
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, I know about panic attacks. I've been with people who've had them, but I didn't know what to do. So my first question is going to be, so those of us who don't even know what this is, what is a panic attack? How do you know, like, what's the difference between I'm just freaking out and I'm having a panic attack?
Well, sometimes they're the same thing. So it's really, a panic attack is a sudden urge of overwhelming fear that comes without warning and without any obvious reason. Now, sometimes people can connect the reason to the experience later on, but often there's no connection. So it might be from something that's going to happen way in the future or something that happened in the past that would trigger that. And so the feelings and the physical symptoms are things like shortness of breath, tightness in chest. Sometimes people feel like they're having a heart attack, literally show up at the emergency room and find out that it's not their heart. They're having something that is more emotional and psychological. And I've had friends who literally did end up at emergency rooms finding out that they had a panic attack.
And there's nothing that they do at the emergency room, or what do they do, right? Because you just said it's more mental than physical, but it feels physical.
Yes, I mean, it definitely is physical. Like, people will often feel like they can't walk. They feel like they're going to pass out. Their pulse will be super fast. Their heart will be beating really hard.
Yeah.
And so for some people, they feel nauseous as well. So they might want to, be in the bathroom or whatever. So I definitely want people to know that there is a physical response. And like I said, it's often triggered by stressful situations, but sometimes the connection isn't there right away. So some of the common triggers, say at work, would be public speaking. There's a conflict that you're having with somebody. Maybe it's an important meeting or an important transition. Say you're going to get a promotion, things like that, or you're going to get laid off or something like that as well.
And you bring up that it happened at work, and I know that you just wrote this article for the Harvard Business Review. Congratulations.
Yes, and it will be part of a book this fall that is going to talk about mental health at work.
Yeah, and so I read your article, and I said, wow, this is really helpful, just where you were breaking down some really simple things that can be quite effective if you find yourself or your friend in the middle of one of these panic attacks, let alone if it happens to be at work. What can you do?
Well, you know how much I push this as a stress management expert. You got to start breathing deep and slow. As soon as you start to feel the symptoms, you're trying to slow down your breath, because that will get at the lack of oxygen. You won't feel as lightheaded. You're going to slow down your pulse. You're going to slow down your heart rate. And anything that's connected to mindfulness. And I use that word only because people often just think of, say, yoga or meditation, but there's other things that you can do in terms of mindfulness. You can repeat a mantra, this too will pass, something like that, because you're trying to bring your attention to the present so that you're more aware and more in control of your physical responses. You can also visualize a peaceful and happy place, like you're trying to remove yourself from this stressful situation, a stress in the moment. And you can take a break. Remove yourself from wherever it is. If you need to go outside, catch some fresh air, because again, often people feel like they can't breathe. They start to feel that kind of symptom. So getting fresh air, some sunlight will often get rid of the things that, like, you feel like you're choking, or the chills, things like that.
I think the ultimate panic attack was not a friend of mine, but an anchor who had a panic attack on the air. I don't know if you know him, Dan Harris, and he ended up devoting his life to mindfulness, and that's my 10% Happier app. So what I have is I have these apps, and are you a fan of these? Like, I push one of these apps, and then they'll take me back to where I am. They kind of lead me through. Yes. It's kind of like having you in my ear,
Yeah, I mean, there's Calm is one of them. There are several different apps where people feel Mind Happy. I think there's a few of those.
Yeah.
And they're useful because they give you the techniques that you need in that moment,
right? Because
sometimes people aren't thinking clearly either, right? And the important thing I also want to say is how to help somebody who is having one of these, like you said. And you don't want to intrude on somebody's space, because a lot of times people just want to be alone, but to ask people if they need help and to help them find a quiet, private place to experience their symptoms, and then just to listen to whatever it is that they're going through and seek help if necessary. You know, if somebody says, yeah, I need some help, make sure to get them some help.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'm sure a lot of people who feel stressed feel the same about that advice. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you so much, Darya. Have a good morning.
You too. 9:22 right now. We'll be right back.